Alrighty, welcome to This Week in Digital Marketing. My name's Jackie Chow. We have a special guest on today. Her name's Gordana, and she's from Workello. Gordana, why don't you give the audience a quick intro, and we can go from there.
Yeah, of course. Hi, everyone. And thank you, Jackie, so much for having me here. So I am actually one of the three co-founders of Workello, along with Nick Jordan and Boyan Maric. And Workello is a pre-hire assessment platform that we initially created for hiring writers because that's what we were doing at the time, and we were struggling a lot with it. But now we've expanded to other roles and basically, like a typical ATS with just some other functionalities such as pre-hire testing and things like that. So I'm actually running CS and a little bit of operations on the Workello side, and of course developing the product. So very
Nice,
excited to talk about everything.
nice. How's CS in the SaaS space? Because I know client side. You still do client work, correct, or no?
I don't do client work anymore, but
Okay,
my co-founders are working with clients on the agency side, and CS is fun actually,
is
especially
it?
in this space. Yeah, it's actually very exciting. I know it doesn't sound like it, but it is. In this space in HR and hiring, there's a lot of, I guess, education that has to happen first because people are not used to, uh, you know, content agencies and smaller SaaS companies are not very used to having a very streamlined hiring process, especially for content teams, and they just kind of go on Upwork and hire anyone. So part of my job as a CS person is not just to answer, questions and things like that, but also to educate our customers on, where they can post their jobs, how to actually evaluate the tests, and the entire part of the process. So it is quite fun. It's not your typical CS role, I'd say, but hopefully, next year I'll get some people on my team and they can do the easier parts.
Yeah. I absolutely hated doing CS because we have like a D2C brand as well, and I don't
Mm.
know about your profile of clients, but my profile of clients are like it's like dinnerware. So it's like right in the smack dab
Hmm.
of people who get really pissed off over nothing. So it's like the worst experience
Yeah.
ever. But yeah, I guess you get a more if it's B2B SaaS sort of, it should be a lot better. It should be a lot better.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, let's just jump right into it. The Today Workello is the sponsor, so I thought what better than to bring on a co-founder of Workello on.
Yeah.
Why don't you give the audience like, I mean, you already talked about it. It was like a hiring tool. I personally use it to, I used it to hire my two video editors. It was great. I had a
Great.
couple questions that I had to get answered because it wasn't very like intuitive to me. But then I think you guys just like completely overhauled it, so I don't even have an issue anymore.
Yeah.
But yeah, why don't you give
Yeah.
the audience who's mostly SEOs and like how can they use their tool to streamline their process?
Yeah, so that's actually a great question, and very interesting that you mentioned SEOs because a large portion of our customers are actually agencies, SEO and content agencies that
Hmm.
heard about us because we focused on hiring writers first. So we have this, big content agency called Content Distribution, and we basically, when I say we, I mean me and my two co-founders. We started building our brands on LinkedIn a couple years ago and just talked a lot about the quality content that people need to publish in order to get really good SEO results. And what comes along with quality content? Well, high quality writers. So we kind of started sharing a lot more about that. And basically, after Workello was born, yeah, we just continued like that. So my best advice for any SEO or content agency is to stop like being delusional and think that you can publish everything by yourself and that you can write I don't know 20 articles a month and run your business and meet with the clients and edit everything and make it all perfect because you just cannot. You need a team even with AI. Like we all know that the quality of AI content is not there yet. There are some exceptions, but most of it is, it needs a lot of work. So Whether you're using AI or not, you really, really need a good writer and a good editor on your team. And that's kind of where we come in, because we've, as I said, originally designed this whole process to hire content teams. And, you know what it's like. I don't know, you've hired writers before, probably. It's the same with video editors. I know now because I just hired a video editor as well. 95% of the candidates are completely unqualified. They have no idea what a portfolio is. And it's because they're, not really writers, not really editors, not really marketers. They're just random people that apply for jobs. And you really need a way to just automate the process of evaluating everyone and testing everyone, and ultimately, hiring the top 1%, which if you do it manually, it's not that fun. Honestly, in your inbox is going to be super flooded. We just kind of solve all of those issues.
Amazing. But before we end this plug, I do want to say, when you post like a job listing on, those job platforms, you end up getting your inbox completely flooded. And in the beginning, it feels like I want to kind of just give up and just hire whoever. Who, like I'll go through maybe 10 job applications, and then just hire whichever the best is of the 10. But with like your tool, you're able to filter through like hundreds. I think that's the main value add that I personally saw, because going through their clunky, my example would be onlinejobs.ph, going through like their super clunky platform, it was like just impossible. So
it's not fun. I'm just kind of wrapping up another hiring process. I'm hiring writers right now. I had 910 candidates, so it would be absolutely impossible to just go through that manually. So you're absolutely right.
Yeah, you mentioned you hired some video editors. What is it for? Is it for Workello?
So I like to think that I have a lot of talents, but turns out I don't. I tried being a video editor for our YouTube channel, but it's just not working.
I tried that too.
It's just
so hard.
It's just such a process. Hard. Oh my God. And like the end result is not even that great. So I was like, okay, let's just hire someone to do it for us. And we actually found a fantastic guy. I'm so happy. I'm actually going to send him an offer tomorrow.
Perfect.
I hope he doesn't see this before tomorrow.
Yeah. Well, why don't we dive into this? How did you, where did you find him? How many candidates did you screen? I guess you used Workello as well. But yeah, what was the process like? And if you don't mind asking, like, what is the offer going to be like in range? Like dollar range per month, if you don't mind. What's good, everyone? It's Jackie Chow.
And this is James DeLacy.
And you're listening to This Week in Digital Marketing.
Yeah, I absolutely don't mind. So I'll start with the beginning of the process. So we posted on several job boards. One of them is this really large job board in Serbia. It's my favorite one. I'm actually from Serbia. So when I started hiring, I immediately started posting there. It's so good. So if anyone's looking for literally anyone, it's infostud.com. It's really great. Not sponsored, unfortunately, but they should sponsor me. We posted there, and then I think about 20 to 30 Facebook groups. So my VA, I found a lot of Facebook groups for video editors and just generally video people. And my VA just went and posted in all of them. And we got, I think, 570 candidates, something crazy like that. It was actually insane. Yeah, I wasn't expecting that. I thought it was going to be 100 at most, but I guess people were interested. We tested a bunch of them. So for this hiring cycle, we had 2 assessments instead of 1. So the first one was super short. We just picked a 37-second clip from a podcast that my other co-founder was on. And we're like, edit this, make it look nice, and add some captions and make it interesting. And if they passed that, we added a second test, which was a paid test. The first one was unpaid because you can't pay 300 people. You would go broke in 2 seconds, basically. So the second one, we basically invited the people who did a really good job at the first one, and they were to edit 3 podcast clips this time to make them kind of TikTok, I guess, YouTube short style, something similar to that. And yeah, it was actually pretty quick. It only took a couple weeks, and
Couple
I found my
weeks.
guy.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Seems
I
long to
can't
me,
edit
actually.
anymore. It was well, maybe, yeah, but it was my first time hiring a video editor, so I wanted to be like super meticulous and look at every single piece of everyone's portfolio because I don't know what I'm looking for. It was kind of new for me. So yeah, I had a bunch of interviews and found my guy, and the range is about around 2,500 a month. He's based in Croatia, so he's going to be joining us full time as well and helping us set up our systems and everything because this is again a completely new thing for us. So yeah, I'm very happy, and I actually can't wait to start producing some videos.
Yeah, it's amazing. Yeah, I personally just hired 2 editors, as I mentioned earlier, and they've been like a game changer. I don't know if what you guys have planned in the pipeline for video content, but case studies are like popping. Well, in my opinion, it's popping. So like, I don't know which channel you post on, but I only saw Nick's channel, I believe. I saw like, I think it was a podcast between you two, or was it? I don't know how it works on like his content distribution channel, but
Yeah.
anyways, what I was saying is like there's like a certain style of videos that work really well on YouTube. And for example, if our podcasts typically are between 600, 700 to 1,000 views per episode, we're able to get like 5, 6, 7K YouTube video, like case study video content. So if you're not on that or you don't have that planned, you got to get on that like ASAP. It's going to go
Hey,
crazy.
yeah, I should do that. We do have case study content, but it's unlisted for us because I don't know. I guess we don't want to put people on the spot if they're a little bit uncomfortable. People give us testimonials for Workello and we just unlist them just in case. But that's interesting. I have to check that out. So I actually should do something like that.
Yeah, I mean it's a no-brainer, I think. Yeah, I think especially with like some nice editing, like those like
Yeah.
funny types of editing, they do really well on YouTube. But yeah, that
Yeah.
should be exciting. Have you since you guys started off Workello as like helping people process like vet and find writers? Well, not so much find, but vet. Have you seen like a downtick in people, posting job descriptions? Because I personally have found pricing for content has actually started going down because of AI. So people are more like AI enabled writers. So they do like a 1 through with AI and then they go through and manually fix up. Do you guys do that in house? Have you seen any impacts of AI in your like any of your businesses? Are you seeing anything or just not much at all?
Actually, yeah, it's not as dramatic as people may think it would be. I think initially when this whole ChatGPT thing started, everyone was like, "Oh my God, we're all going to lose jobs. Writers are done. You don't need writers anymore." It's not true. But we are seeing some movements, like people are like, "Oh, actually, I don't think I'm going to hire writers. I'm just going to use AI." And then I say, "Okay, but who's going to edit that?" It's like, you just can't do it yourself, and they usually end up changing their mind. I have seen some weird job ads around because obviously I'm on job boards a lot, just exploring if they work for different roles or not. And I'm seeing a lot of what you just said, ChatGPT writer or AI writer or something like that. And I don't know, they're always kind of weird to me because you expect someone to be an expert in something that's very, very new and pay them less than what you would pay a typical writer. Just, I don't know, it just does not make sense to me. But things are not as dire as, LinkedIn says. It's not the end of the world. People still need writers. And, especially with AI now, everyone's kind of afraid that, what if Google punishes me if I publish only AI content? I have to, do something about it. I have to edit that. So I don't think writers are going anywhere. I don't think editors are going anywhere. Maybe, the jobs will definitely change, but yeah, things are still going as normal, I would say. In our agency, for example, we don't allow any type of AI just because I want to control everything that I publish. Well, my agency wants to control everything that they publish. So we actually don't allow it because it just changes your process so much. You have to involve next level fact checking that is very much different than fact checking normal content, I guess, non AI generated. So, yes and no, things are changing, but also not as badly as some people say that things are.
Yeah, I do agree. But I think the impact, personally, this is my opinion. I don't see anything about this. I personally think it will be bad in the future for bad writers, like
Yes,
subpar writers. Like they're
100%.
completely screwed, in my opinion. And I think good writers
100%.
with like their own tone of voice and like their own style of writing or their own personality in their writing, that is 100% not going anywhere. But
Yeah.
yeah, that's just how I feel. But yeah, I think the non-native or not like bad writers are completely getting destroyed right now, because there's some agencies with like
Yeah.
just like they're just pumping out content, you know what I mean? Mostly in the SEO
Yeah.
space.
Yeah. You are 100% right. And I would say that that is actually fair because, one of the reasons why people don't respect the writing profession is because anyone thinks that they can be a writer. I personally know so many people who barely speak English and they're like, oh, I can make, $1,500 a month if I just write a couple pieces of content each month.
Mm-hmm.
No, you can't. What you're putting out is so bad. I get, as part of my kind of CS thing, I have this chatbot on our website and people can ask us questions. I get so many questions from candidates asking me, what is a portfolio? Like, if you don't know what that is, I don't know how you expect to get a job as a writer. So 100% on the spot, bad writers are definitely going to go away. And I actually think that's a good thing because, we don't need any more mediocre content. I think there's enough everywhere on the internet. It's
Yeah,
time to move away from that.
yeah, but yeah, I mean, sad. It's like a bittersweet thing because a lot of people will be out of jobs. I think it's a majority of people are bad writers, right? That's just how the world is. Like majority of people are like in the bottom percentile, and the good writers are they're, I mean, you can just see it in your applications, right? If you're hiring for one writer,
Yeah.
if you get 500 applications, maybe 100 are half decent, right? And the other 400, you're
Yeah.
like, what the
Yeah.
heck is this?
Yeah, but I think half decent or even decent writers, they can learn, they can expand their knowledge and they can adapt. But
Mm-hmm.
someone who's just saying, "Oh, I'm going to be a writer today because it's easy," I mean, it's like not fair to the other people who are actually good at what they do. And like you said, when you were hiring on online jobs, which I love, by the way, but again, you can only review 10 or 20 applications, and the majority are really, really bad. You may miss out on someone who's actually really, really amazing, and they work on their craft all the time, and they are educated and they learn continuously. So I mean, it's kind of cruel to say, but if you're not constantly learning and evolving and trying to be better, it's not fair to take up space for someone who actually is really, really good, but they maybe can't stand out just because of the sheer volume of everyone else. So, yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Changing directions real quick. Do you personally have any like content sites that you're building right now, or are you all in Workello? You have like no other time after you're off work. You're like exhausted. I don't have any time, brain space to think about anything else.
Yeah, kind of a little bit of both. I actually am starting a personal project. I always wanted to do that, never had time. I didn't publish anything. It's not even live yet, but hopefully pretty soon. And then my two co-founders and I, we just kind of want to play around with some websites just to do something internally, just to test a lot of the things that we are kind of exploring right now. So we are going to start a couple more. Again, more on the test side and then see if anything comes out of it. But I'm 99% of the time on Workello and just, after like 10 or 12 hours of work, I'm just like, I can't work on the website. Too tired and just go straight to bed.
Yeah,
But
I
maybe,
bet.
soon I'll go on a little vacation and maybe I'll get cracking on
Hmm.
that new website.
Yeah, yeah. You're are you a writer by like education? What is your background? Yeah, what when you like go way back, like how did you start off in the industry and how did you get into working with your two
Yeah.
co-founders, Nick and Boyan? How do you pronounce his name?
Yeah, Boyan.
Oh
It's
yeah.
Boyan. Yeah, you actually did it perfectly. Yeah, I actually used to be a writer. I was a writer for about 6 or 7 years, and got started completely randomly. I was still in university. I studied English literature. So, I was like, oh,
Oh.
I like to read. I like to write. It was completely random, just like the people that I'm talking about. Like, oh, I want to be a writer. So I did a lot of very low paying writing gigs for a very long time. And then started kind of leveling up a little bit. And yeah, Nick actually found me on Upwork. It was completely random. I was just another writer, freelancer. And then he asked me to be his editor and if I have any experience running a team. I said yes, even though I had zero experience running a team and I was
I
never
did
an
the
editor
same
before
thing.
that.
It's great.
Yeah.
I respect the
I
hustle.
mean, yeah, you just Google later how to do it. And yeah. So that's kind of how it started. And then Nick and I actually were roommates for a little while. He moved to Serbia. So we were working together.
What?
Yeah. Yeah. So
Isn't
Nick
Nick's American,
is,
right?
yeah, he's from Seattle. Yeah. So when we started working together, he was like, I want to be European. Where should I come? I'm like, come to Belgrade. I live here. We can hang out. You don't need a visa. You can stay for as long as you want. And he actually did come to Belgrade, wasn't expecting that. And he had this
Hmm.
horrible little Airbnb with no windows, and I felt super bad. And I had an extra room. So I was like, okay, let's just be roommates. Let's live together. So we did that for about 8 months while we were building content distribution, and we actually got it off the ground. It was like a huge sleepover, basically, just working on that 24/7. And we
Holy.
hired our first few writers and promoted some of them to editors and wrote
Wait, what's
so
a
many
content
SOPs.
distribution
Like,
for the audience? What's content
oh,
distribution
yeah.
again?
Yeah, sorry. Content distribution is our content marketing agency. We started out with just two people and one client, and we slowly but surely did some actually pretty amazing things. We brought 4 projects from 0 to 100K organics a month, and one of our largest projects at the time was doing 1.5 million organics a month. That
Crazy.
was absolutely huge, and it was crazy. So we basically work on content. We produce high quality content, and we believe in something called content velocity, which is basically just publish more pages and make them really
Mm-hmm.
good. And yeah, things are going really great. I think I'm not on the agency side anymore, so I'm not sure about the numbers, but I think we got 3 more projects to 100K since I left to do Workello. So yeah, it's a huge operation, and it's actually one of
How?
the reasons why we. Yeah, please.
No. That's one of
Oh,
the reasons you started Workello, right? I believe you were gonna
yeah,
say.
yeah, yeah. Yeah. That's exactly what I wanted to say. So
Sorry
we
about that.
had a
Anyways,
huge team.
what I wanted to ask was so sorry for interrupting, but what I wanted to ask
No problem.
was what's like the business model? Is it like agency retainer business model? Is it per article? Like
Yeah.
how does it work?
So
What, and also
it's kind
like
of half
final
and
question
half.
is why did you like stop that?
Good question.
Yeah.
To answer your first one, it's kind of half and half. So there is a retainer for project management, SEO, all the other stuff that has to be done that's non-content related. So there
Mm-hmm.
is part of that as part of our contract with any customer or client that we have, and then there is a per article payment. And of course, I mean, I recommend always doing more, but not everyone is ready to start publishing 30 or 50 pages a month. So some clients start with, 10 or 12, some are already on 50. So it really does depend on, the type of client that we have and the type of content that we are producing. But right now we are working on kind of both models. And the reason why I left that, I'm kind of there, all the time. So I left on paper, but, I meddle in their business a lot, just because, I miss the agency and I miss the team a lot. But the reason why is because we really needed to focus on Workello, and I was kind of best positioned to do that because I wasn't really, doing much SEO at the agency, and the content side of everything was good because we wrote all the SOPs, we set up the systems, things were really, really stable, and my presence wasn't necessary every single day to kind of put out fires because they were just putting themselves out. So I moved full time to Workello, and I think the final reason is because I don't get bored of talking to people. Not that Nick and Gwen do, but I don't know. I just love it. I don't know. I love meeting with customers. I love talking about content and hiring and just educating, I guess. So that's the main reason why.
Gotcha.
And yeah.
Gotcha. And I mean, if you like talking to people, you could have been like a account manager or something like that, right? You could have just been like customer facing the whole time. But I mean, it's fine. Workello is probably a way bigger, it's like a moonshot idea. Agencies are agencies, at the end of the day. I think Workello is like a moonshot idea. How did you guys get that off the ground? So you started off in content distribution, the agency. You saw a need for Workello. You guys built it out in-house, I believe. Is that correct?
Yeah.
Did you have any funding? How did that work? Like, because it's expensive.
No funding. It is, yeah. No funding at all. Everything is bootstrapped by the agency. We don't have an in-house developer. We work with a contractor, and they kind of built out the MVP. That now, when I look back, I'm like, why did we even build that? It's so ugly and like it doesn't do anything. But yeah, it was a super, super slow process, honestly, in the beginning, because you just kind of have to figure out so many things at the same time and make sure the product is not buggy, but also sell it to customers, which I'm not very good at. So I don't really do that a lot. That's kind of Nick's job. But then also, convince people that they need to use something like this because doing it the other way around is super annoying and time consuming. So yeah, it was super slow in the beginning, but at some point things just, I guess, fell into place, and we started developing the product a lot more and I guess quicker. So like you said, we overhauled the whole thing. I don't know if you saw the new one, but it's completely different.
Yeah, it looks way better.
So yeah, like things are changing constantly, but yeah, no funding. We are purely bootstrapped, and I kind of like that. Honestly, I know things would probably be easier if we had some kind of funding, but then you invite a lot of other people into that equation, and I'm not sure that I personally am ready for that. But we'll see. We'll see how things go.
Yeah, I don't think you guys would need this. Like introducing investors is so gets pretty intense, I would say. I think this is like the perfect software business to not like to bootstrap. But speaking of which, I think what you should do if you're a writer, Gordana, like why I know you're on LinkedIn and you like started. I know you have like quite a bit of followers there, but are you on Twitter? I don't think I saw you. Like I don't think I see you tweet that much, right?
I don't tweet at all. I don't know why I never got into Twitter. I have to do something about that. I told myself I would do it this year, but I just never reached for it. I guess, I don't know. I never used it before. So, but yeah, you're right. I have to get on Twitter.
Oh my goodness. You must. It's like, number one, it helped my writing personally. So like my writing before I started tweeting was so bad. It's still bad, but it's at least like funny bad now, so it like at least I can convey like some sort of personality or like make my stupid dad jokes, even though I'm not a dad yet. But
I love that joke.
it's great for getting like building a personal brand is also great for Workello as well. You know, you can start pushing people. Maybe you could, I don't, you have like 2 other co-founders, but this seems like one of the perfect brands to like build in public, you know, and like talk about like, you know, the stresses of your everyday life, how terrible clients are, what like hiccups you see on the way. I mean, I totally see it. I'm like hyped for you guys. You should check it out because it's perfect for writers. Twitter is perfect for writers. It's all only for them, right? Because it's like text based.
No, you're 100% right. I really should do. Okay, I'm gonna do it now. Like, there's no excuse anymore. I have to. I made like a Twitter account in like 2009 or something, just to complain about my internet provider. That's like the only tweet I made. I think. I don't think I made any others. So, okay, I will do that. Thank you so much.
Yeah, no, I mean,
like you're 100% right. Yeah.
Yeah, I've like tried to hype like my personal friends up, and they came on Twitter. They post like a couple tweets. You know, they're not popping off, but then they post this like one tweet, and it gets like hundreds of K of like impressions, and then they just hit 2, 3, 4K followers overnight, and then like their business has changed forever. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, I didn't know
I
it
think
was that
that's
easy to.
totally possible for you, especially. Yeah, I think it's a bit of a boys club in the SEO space, and we need.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, it's I think we need to change that. I'm not a huge fan of that.
Yeah.
You know, got to get a bit more diversity in there.
I totally agree. It is a little bit of a boys club, but I don't know. It's getting better, I think. I think it was way more toxic a few years ago. Now everyone's kind of nice, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah.
But yeah, thank you. I guess maybe I'll like after this, I'm gonna tweet that I talked to you.
Yeah, please do. I mean, I'm sure if you guys are listening, the audience, go follow her. I'll add her link in the description. So give her a follow.
Awesome.
And hopefully we convince her to tweet a bit more about building a, you know, a B2B SaaS brand.
Yay! Awesome. All right. Well, now I'm pumped. I can't wait.
Yeah, it's like I think it's a no-brainer. Nick's got a bit of a personal brand. No, he like focuses on that. Yeah. Is he? Because I see him on Facebook, Twitter, and LinkedIn. Like, where does he spend all his time? Do you know?
Mostly Facebook nowadays. We have this group that we created. It's called Fat Graph Content Ops. It's a funny name. So most of the time, I think he spends there. He's also on LinkedIn, but he needs to work on his engagement there. He's like really not engaging with anyone's content, and analytics show that. So Nick, get on that. He is also on Twitter. I think he has quite the following there. I'm not sure exactly how many people, but he's really, really good at brand building. Like, I don't know how he does it, but he's just everywhere. You can't miss him. Like, whatever social media you open, it's just Nick Jordan is there. Even Instagram, like he's constantly posting. I honestly like never liked it. Nick actually made me like start posting on LinkedIn and Facebook. I was like, I don't want to do that. That's for losers. Like, no. Now I actually love it. So it's all thanks to Nick. So yeah, he does have
just
talent.
move that to Twitter. Your first like Twitter thread. I don't know if you follow any of the Twitter tactics, but your first Twitter thread, if it's one of those like, if you follow a certain formula, it'll like most likely pop off. And if I do see it in my timeline, I'll give you a follow after this. And you know, your first big one, I'll definitely like send it some engagement, and hopefully it'll pop off.
You're so sweet.
We gotta get you up there. There's too many. There's way too many toxic men on Twitter in SEO space, so we gotta fix that for sure.
Yeah, so I've heard. Thank you.
Yeah, no worries. So how long have you and Nick been working together? It's like years by now, right?
Yeah, we started in 2019, so just before COVID and everything. So 2019, and then a big part of 2020, while we were living together. And yeah, then in 2021 we made Workello. So how many years is that for? I think, yeah,
Yeah.
something like
And
that.
who's Bojan? Like, where,
Oh
you know,
yeah.
yeah, where did
So
he jump into the equation? When did he jump in?
he's he's our mysterious COO now. So he just recently got a
Okay.
promotion. Boyan is honestly, I think, one of the best SEO guys that I've ever seen. And I don't know, I think he's like a machine or something. He's just capable of working 24/7. It's actually crazy. Boyan and I actually used to work together in like 2016 when I was a writer. He was my
Oh,
content manager. So didn't really like him a lot back then, but he was super mean. But yeah, we just randomly connected on LinkedIn when Nick was telling me that I need to get some mentors and like I need some people that know what they're talking about, just kind of get in on the conversation. And we actually spent like 6 months convincing him to come work with us. At the end, he
hmm.
did, and it was like the best thing that ever happened to us. Honestly, he took everything to the next level. So go give him a follow too. Like he's actually amazing. He's writing all of our case studies about
Oh wow.
0 to 100K with this project, that project, because he actually did everything like start to finish for all of them. And yeah, he's our third co-founder. He's the COO of content distribution. Um, really, really great guy. So yeah, people can
Huh.
learn a lot from him, I would think.
Yeah. Yeah. Gotcha. And so three co-founders. That's quite a bit of co-founders. Do you guys have like? Do you guys fight a lot? Do you guys like do like passive aggressive texts over WhatsApp or whatever? I know how it gets. It's gets pretty heated
Yeah.
sometimes.
Yeah, it does. To be honest, yes, we do. Especially because it's just three personalities and we're all different and we all kind of have our own talents and I don't know, I guess wants. So for example, Nick and I clash quite a lot.
Oh yeah. Huh.
We just see things differently a lot of the time, and we're both really emotional people, so things get heated very easily. So Boyan is kind of our rock and just saying like, guys, come on, stop fighting over stupid things, like calm down. I think it's normal, like not. I don't think it's normal to be overly aggressive with your co-founders or like mean to one another, but I don't know. I think fighting in any relationship is normal, and this type of relationship is just so weird and unnatural that no one knows what to do in that situation. So we just kind of spend time, I guess, reading, a lot of articles and watching YouTube videos from YC, just how
Mm-hmm.
to do this. And yeah, I don't know. I was at one point like thinking like we should just hire a therapist, man, to just come and just talk to us and help us get on the same
Nice.
page.
Nice.
We didn't do that in the end, but I still think it's a good idea for co-founders, especially if your talents are vastly different like ours
Mm-hmm.
are. Um, you can't kind of think that this other person is going to 100% understand what you are going through and what you are working on if they are just not naturally good at that. So I think that's where the majority of the conflict comes from, and communication. That's number one. Um, I don't know.
Hmm.
Like as much as I like talking to people, I'm like very kind of an introverted person, and I often like I don't like giving updates on like what I'm working on, and that's obviously frustrating for my co-founders. So that's like something that I am working on definitely. And whoever is in a co-founder relationship, just make things as transparent as possible, and 90% of the problems will go away. I promise you.
Yeah, most definitely. Have you and the co-founders ever spoke like what your ultimate goal for Workello is? Is it just like a fat, juicy exit, or like what's the vibe here? Are you gonna, I don't know, keep it cash flowing, or keep expanding the product line, or like the features into something huge? Uh, like where do you guys see it in 5, 10 years? Because
Yeah,
that's a long
I
time.
mean the It is, yeah, and we're not getting any younger. So,
Hmm.
the end goal is definitely an exit. I don't think that we want to work on this forever. I mean, who knows? Maybe we do end up doing that, but we have a lot of like ideas and ambitions, and we definitely want to, try something else in like 5 to 7 years, I guess. But until that happens, we just want to focus on developing the product and just getting because the market is there, right? It's like people use
Hmm.
ATSs and it is an established product type, I guess. So our goal is to just shift that conversation a little bit to this like, hey, test your people first side, which a lot of ATSs don't do. And if they do, they're not really an ATS. So we are super, super hyper focused on,
Wait, what's an
educating the market.
ATS? Sorry, I'm like
It's, oh,
super
yeah.
stupid. So yeah.
No, no, sorry. I just used to talking about it all the time. It's an applicant tracking system, so it's kind of like I guess Bamboo HR. Most people use that,
Yeah.
or Jazz HR. It's just basically a place where your candidates come and you can review them there. But most of them don't have a lot of these automations that I really think are necessary at this point in time. So yeah, we are definitely continuing, on product development. We have so many ideas and
Hmm.
just so many things that we want to build into it, like payments, for example, because that would be super easy for, all of our customers if they could just click a button and just pay the invoices. PTO trackers, just an overall kind of
Like an
HR
HR
product
software.
that
Yeah.
is going to work. Yeah, that's going to work for small companies, but also, medium to kind of bigger businesses. But yeah, exit all the way, 10 years time, I can wait that long.
Yeah.
And then, yeah, we do something else, probably in a completely different space, probably not HR. We'll see.
Yeah. It's a tough industry to be in. It's at least it's super sticky. What like could you speak on can you speak on like how many paying customers you guys have? We don't have to speak on revenue, but like can you speak on paying customers? Like the
Yeah,
type of churn you guys see in your industry. I'm just like shooting in the dark. I don't even know these metrics, what they mean completely,
yeah,
because I'm in a completely different industry. But like
yeah.
what kind of numbers are you guys seeing?
Yeah, so at this point, I think we have around a little bit over 200 paying customers, but we have thousands of users actually that are on our free plan. And we're kind of slowly trying to convert them.
Mm,
I think the main issue with churn, for example, for us is the customers that we got early on, a lot of them were just not ready for a product like this. And I'm not trying to say that like this is something revolutionary and they're just not ready, but they're just small, agencies and they don't need software like this. So that is our actually main reason for churning. We never had churns because people had problems with it or anything like that. So um, lately, I would say since last year, we started getting a lot more selective with the type of customer that we're looking for. In the
hmm.
beginning, you'll just take anything, like just give me
Yeah.
some money, please, so I can prove that this works. But it really was the wrong move for us because we focused on really small SEOs, not even agencies, but just like one person shows um, that I just don't
Oh.
think they were ready at the time. So now we're more focused on SaaS companies that are kind of in the beginning stages, I guess, of their HR process figuring out. Because once you
Hmm.
get on an HR system, you don't
Yeah, you
leave
never leave.
for a very long time because it's just so annoying to do that and just transfer everything. And yeah, things have been pretty good. Our churn with the newer customers is super, super low. But again, it was our mistake in the beginning. We didn't really have an ICP, like, we just didn't have a good avatar, I guess, of the person that we were
Hmm.
looking for. We were more focused on sales. But,
Gotcha.
you learn as you go.
And
So, yeah.
yeah, 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 got it. I get it. And what kind of like growth levers are you guys pulling right now? Well, besides sponsoring podcasts, which I've seen you guys do, as well as newsletter sponsorships with other brands, are you? Are you being scrappy? Are you doing paid? Are you doing cold emails as well for like, because you have by now you have your, what is it, ideal customer profile, right? You have something
Yeah.
in your mind. All three of the co-founders have decided like this is the perfect customers. Are you going out and like reaching out to them as well, or is it just, you know,
Yeah.
mostly on the paid
Uh,
side and organically growing?
Actually, zero paid. Well, paid sponsorships, yes, but we don't
Mhm.
do ads or anything like that. We recently, well, Nick is actually kind of R&Ding the cold outreach process, and it actually worked. We got our first customer from cold outreach, so that was really
Oh,
exciting.
nice.
Shout out to them. We do a lot of social posting, so LinkedIn, Facebook. Nick does Twitter. I don't, but I should.
Hmm.
We started a YouTube channel. Again, I think that's going to pick up now that we actually have an editor, so we can actually
Hmm.
do something with that. And then we do SEO. So we published a lot of articles, and yeah, it's, the conversions are starting to come in. I think we're finally hitting that maturity point that we constantly tell our clients, just be patient, it's going to come. But when it's your thing, you're like, why is it this not working on day two? It's
Hmm.
very frustrating, but it's starting to work. So SEO, I think, will be our number one acquisition channel. At
Oh,
least that's
nice.
the plan. And yeah, it's getting there. I'm super excited to see how it goes. But otherwise, yeah, mostly social and yeah, these types of sponsorships. So we'll see how things go in the future. Maybe we'll start running some ads on Facebook or
Yeah.
other platforms. But for
I
now,
think,
we're really not focusing on that.
yeah. Um, I think your Workello might be the perfect brand for like cold outreach, actually, now that I think about it. Because it's sticky, it's HR software, and you already have like an ideal customer profile, right? Do you even have like a list of like
Yeah.
500 companies that you would love to, onboard?
Yeah.
Do you guys have that internally?
uh, yeah. Nick has a huge, huge list. I actually don't know how many companies are on there, but it's a big list. And, he's kind of going through it and, just tweaking his messaging. It's very easy to get lost in this. I mean, Nick is a very good writer. He's extremely good
Hmm.
at crafting emails, but I think it's just very, very easy to forget that, like, we're not talking to our community right now. We're actually talking to someone who has no idea who we are, probably doesn't even care about SEO. And even if they do, they don't know as much as our community knows about it. So he's constantly working on, tweaking his messaging and just making it more accessible to someone who may not necessarily be as proficient, I guess, in this world of like marketing and SEO, but they still need to hire those people. So we'll see. I'm actually super excited to see which version is the best one. I think we need a little bit more time to
Oh, you
figure
mean
that
like
out.
the outreach version, right? Like the outreach
Yeah,
content, like
yeah,
copy. Yeah, yeah.
yeah.
I actually saw that it was probably, personally, this is only for the newsletter sponsorship. So we all actually do cold emailing and like LinkedIn outreach, so on and so forth. The shorter it is, the better for us. But
Yeah, yeah.
and then you always end, the last sentence has to be like a question, and that's like by far the best. I think it was like a
Interesting.
40% uplift or something like that. It was crazy. It was crazy.
All
But
right.
you
I'll
guys
let
have
him
to test.
know.
Obviously, different industries, so yada yada yada. So
Yeah.
you guys have to keep testing.
Maybe he's listening, so maybe he's gonna take some notes, but if he's not, it's all
I'm
right.
sure he'll listen. We're 48 minutes in. It's a lot for people to handle. But people
Yeah.
typically they last until the 20 something. On average, people listen 20 minutes on podcasts. Isn't that crazy?
Well, that's
That's
pretty
like
good.
pretty long for like an hour
Yeah,
long
that's
podcast.
actually pretty amazing. Yeah.
Yeah, but yeah.
Wow,
Speaking of
okay.
which, I want to be mindful of everyone's time. We typically do like 50 minutes, so we're under the hour mark. I think YouTube has been pushing our podcast videos a bit more if it's under 60 minutes. So where can people find you, Gordana? Like, where can people find you and follow like
Yeah.
your progress in with Workello?
Yeah, so mostly I would recommend LinkedIn. I can leave my links somewhere, I guess. But
Yeah.
yeah, find me on LinkedIn, connect with me, please. I definitely want to follow more people. I need more diversity in my feed. So yeah, send me a request and we can be friends there. I guess I'm gonna be on Twitter now, so that's gonna be
Yeah.
exciting.
So link will be
And
down below, guys. And give
yeah,
her a follow.
yeah, and finally, Facebook group Fat Graph Content Ops. It's our community. It's pretty nice people. It's definitely not a toxic SEO bro community. Everyone's actually very respectful. So join us there. We talk about content, SEO, marketing, hiring all the time, and we would love to have you there. So yeah.
Yeah, I'm in that Facebook group as well. It's a good one. So
Yay!
I'll link everything down below, guys. Check it out. Thanks for your time today.
Awesome. Yay! Thank you so much.